in the quiet village of Ogbeak, where the red earth met the sky with a kind of sadness only the land could understand, lived a girl named Adora. She was just 13 when the light of her world, her mother, Mama Ezen, passed away after a short illness. That morning, the cock crowed like it always did, but something in the air had changed. Grief settled over their compound like harmattan dust, thick, dry, and impossible to ignore. Her father, Papa Obinna, was a man of few words and many burdens. After burying his wife, it didn't take long before the village elders started whispering in his ears. You cannot raise a girl child alone. You need a woman in the house. 3 months later, a new woman entered their home. Her name was Uloma. She came with long eyelashes, fast hands, and a tongue sharp enough to slice yam without a knife. At first, she smiled at Adora like a woman trying to charm a goat before the slaughter. But soon the smiles disappeared, and so did Adora's peace. You this pickin', are you blind? Can't you see the floor is dirty? Uloma shouted one morning, throwing a wooden broom at her head. You think because your mother pampered you, you can do anyhow in my house? Nonsense. My mother's house, Adora whispered to herself, too afraid to say out loud. The compound that once echoed with laughter and the soft songs Mama used to hum while making Agbono soup now trembled under Uloma's voice. Adora became a shadow in her own home, doing all the chores, cooking every meal, scrubbing the pit latrine till her hands blistered. Yet it was never enough. At school, her uniform grew thinner, while the other children looked fresher. Her classmates called her Dusty Ada because her dress was always stained from washing early morning clothes and fetching firewood before sunrise. One day, while fetching water from the village stream, Adora stood still and watched her reflection in the water. Her eyes had lost their shine. She missed her mother's arms, her warm voice, and the small pink ribbon she used to tie in her hair every Sunday. Why did you leave me, Mama? She whispered, her voice catching the wind. Suddenly, a frog jumped into water, breaking her reflection into ripples. She sighed and picked up her heavy aluminum bowl, placing it on her head. When she returned home, she heard laughter in the parlor. Her father was back from his journey, and Uloma was laughing with him, acting sweet. The moment he entered his room, her face turned. You didn't wash my wrapper, you lazy goat. She barked. You will sleep outside today. That night, on the mango tree in the backyard, Adora curled herself like a kitten in an old wrapper and stared at the stars. One fell. She made a wish. Mama, if you can hear me, come back. Or send me a sign. Anything. Please. Little did Adora know her life was about to change. A secret from her mother's past was about to resurface, and it would shake the entire village. A week after Adora made that silent wish under the mango tree, something strange happened. It was on a Wednesday, the kind of day when the clouds looked like they were too tired to move. Adora had just finished washing a pile of plates and was heading to the backyard to rest her legs when she noticed an old woman standing at the gate. The woman was dressed in faded ankara, her feet dusty, and a walking stick in her hand. Good afternoon, Ma, Adora said politely, her voice soft. The woman smiled, her face wrinkling like dry papaya skin. My child, is this the house of the late Ezen Obinna? Adora's heart skipped. Yes, she was my mother. The woman looked at her carefully, then nodded. You look like her. The same eyes. Adora swallowed. No one ever talked about her mother anymore. She stepped closer. The woman's smile faded. I was your mother's aunt, from her mother's side. I came from Umwahia. Your mother and we shared something deep. Before she passed, she sent me a letter. But by the time I came, she was gone. Tears welled up in Adora's eyes. Please come inside. Before they could move, a voice shouted from behind. And who is this dirty old woman standing at my gate? It was Euloma. Adora turned quickly. She came to see Mama. She's family. Family, your mother is dead, and she didn't leave anybody here. You go away. Euloma spat, pointing at the old woman. Before I call the neighbors to chase you. The woman looked calmly at Euloma, her gaze sharp. I see the spirit in this house is no longer clean. Spirit, Euloma scoffed. Go and tell your spirits that you met Euloma, wife of Obina. The old woman turned to Adora, gently touched her cheek, and whispered, When the moon is full, follow the path to the old shrine behind the stream. Your answers are waiting there. Then she walked away, leaving Adora trembling. That night, Euloma beat Adora over a missing 500 naira note, which she probably spent herself. But the pain couldn't erase what the old woman said. A few nights later, the moon was full, big and round like the village drum during festival time. At midnight, Adora tiptoed out, her bare feet silent against the cool earth. The wind whispered through the trees, and the stream ahead glistened under moonlight. Behind it, the old path to the forgotten shrine waited. Branches scratched her arms, and owls hooted in the distance. Still, she kept walking. At last, she reached the shrine, a small clay structure covered in vines and silence. As soon as she stepped closer, she heard a voice, not loud, not soft, but strong, inside her chest. Adora, my daughter. She froze. You are not ordinary. You are my blood, and in you lies a gift. Mama, she whispered, trembling. A gust of wind wrapped around her like an embrace. They think you're weak, but your destiny is tied to the spirits of our land. The woman in your house fears what you will become. A small clay pot in the shrine cracked open on its own, and inside was a necklace, beads glowing faintly. Take it. Your journey begins now. But be warned, your stepmother is darker than she appears. She carries secrets that could destroy you or make you rise. Adora stood frozen, the necklace in her hand, and the weight of destiny settling on her small shoulders. As she walked back home, the air felt different, like the beginning of a storm. And in the compound, Euloma stood by the door, eyes wide open. She had seen Adora return from the shrine, and now she knew. Euloma watched in the shadows, her arms folded, her teeth grinding behind tightened lips. Adora didn't see her. She slipped quietly into the house and tucked the beaded necklace deep inside her old wrapper. But Euloma had seen enough. She stormed back to her room and lit a black candle from the calabash under her bed. As the flame flickered, she hissed into the air. She has found it, that child, that cursed child. From a hidden wooden box, Euloma pulled out an old mirror, cracked at the edges and stained with kola nut. She whispered in a strange language, and slowly an image appeared, Adora holding the glowing necklace. No, it was meant to die with her mother. Euloma spat. If she awakens fully, I'm finished. The next morning, Adora woke early. Her sleep had been full of strange dreams, visions of her mother in white, rivers flowing backwards, fire dancing in her palms. When she entered the kitchen, Euloma was already there, pretending to pound yam with exaggerated force. She didn't say a word. Adora sensed the tension. Good morning, Ma. Euloma turned slowly, smiling too sweetly. Good morning, Adora the Night Walker. The pounding stopped. Adora froze. What do you mean? Euloma stepped closer. Don't play games with me, girl. I saw you last night, going to that cursed shrine. You think you're the only one with eyes? I didn't do anything wrong. Wrong. Yuloma's voice turned sharp. You are digging up things you don't understand. Your mother should have burned that secret with her bones. Adaora's eyes widened. What do you know about my mother? Yuloma leaned in, voice low. More than you ever will. And if you don't stay away from that shrine, you'll end up just like her. She walked off, laughing coldly. Adora stood still, heart racing. For the first time, she realized the truth. Yuloma wasn't just wicked. She was hiding something. That evening, Adora returned to the shrine. As she touched the necklace again, the air shimmered and the old woman from the gate appeared. This time dressed in white, her eyes glowing faintly. My child, she said softly, Yuloma was not just your father's second wife. She was once a servant of a dark priestess, one who envied your mother's light. Your mother was chosen by the spirits to carry a gift that now lives in you. Adora clenched her fists. What is the gift? The woman held up her hand. A swirl of light formed into a flame that floated above her palm. You have the gift of sight and fire, but it's only the beginning. What happened to my mother? The woman's eyes dimmed. Yuloma betrayed her. Adora's heart cracked like dried clay. But if you're to defeat Yuloma, the old woman continued, you must learn to awaken the full strength in you. And when the moon turns red, you must be ready. Because Yuloma is preparing a ritual, one meant to destroy your spirit. A cold wind blew across the shrine. Adora nodded. Then, teach me. I'm ready. The old woman smiled. So be it. But remember, the fight won't just be with Yuloma. There are others watching. And some are not on your side. Back in the house, Yuloma prepared a calabash of dark herbs and a rooster's blood. She smeared symbols across the floor in red, then looked up into the darkness. By the next moon, she growled, Adora will fall, or I will. And from the shadows, something moved, its eyes like hot coal, waiting to be called. For the next 7 nights, Adora trained in secret with the old woman, who she now knew as Dibia Eneni, a powerful spiritual custodian and her mother's guardian. Under moonlight, Adora learned to quiet her spirit and connect to the fire within. She learned how to feel energy in the air, how to speak to the wind, and how to see truths hidden beneath lies. The beaded necklace was no longer just an ornament. It glowed when danger was near and pulsed when her spirit was strong. You are fire, Adora, Dibia Eneni said. But remember, fire can cook food or burn a village. How you use it defines who you are. Back in the compound, Yuloma was preparing her final move. On the night of the red moon, she would perform a ritual that would trap Adaora's spirit forever and silence the gift she inherited. What Yuloma didn't know was that Adora had seen it all in a vision. She knew where, when, and how it would happen. The night of the red moon. The sky was blood red, an eerie glow washing over the village like something ancient had awakened. In the middle of the forest, Yuloma stood in a circle of fire, chanting dark incantations. Before her was a wooden doll wrapped in Adaora's torn clothes, surrounded by bones and blood. Let the fire consume her spirit, she shouted, throwing the doll into the flames. The wind screamed, and then it went silent. Behind her, a soft voice spoke. You called the fire, but the fire was never yours. Yuloma spun around. Adora stood at the edge of the clearing, dressed in white, her necklace glowing like the sun in the dark. You should not be here. Yuloma shouted, fear creeping into her voice. I was born to be here, Adora replied. And you were never supposed to be part of my mother's life. Yuloma laughed bitterly. You're just a girl. No, Adora said, lifting her hand. Fire danced between her fingers. I am her daughter. I am light, and I am not afraid." Yoloma screamed and raised a black calabash, releasing a dark spirit that flew toward Adora like smoke with teeth. Adora stood firm. She held the necklace and chanted the words Dibia Eneni taught her. "From the womb of truth, from a root of love, light be born." A beam of white fire shot from her palm, striking the dark spirit and shattering it into ash. Yoloma stumbled back, her mouth open in horror. "It's over," Adora said softly. "No, you don't understand. If I fail, they will come for me too." "That's your burden," Adora replied. "My mother did nothing to deserve your hate, but I will carry her justice." With one last word, the flames around the ritual circle consumed themselves. The necklace pulsed once, and Yoloma collapsed unconscious. The morning after, the villagers found Yoloma lying in the forest, confused and broken. When she was brought back, she confessed to everything: how she poisoned Adora's mother out of jealousy, how she tried to kill Adora, and how she used dark spirits to keep control. The elders banished her from the village, never to return. Papa Obinna wept when he heard the truth. He fell at his daughter's feet and begged for forgiveness. Adora forgave him, but she never forgot. She went on to live with Dibia Eneni, learning the old ways, growing into her full power, not just a girl, but a healer, a protector, and a voice for those who had none. Moral lesson: jealousy and wickedness may prosper for a time, but truth, light, and courage will always rise in the end. Adora's story reminds us that being born into pain does not define your destiny. What defines you is how you choose to rise, how you choose to heal, and how you use your gifts, not for revenge, but for justice and light.